does more for bringing the gets community involved more here at Lakeview Middle School, and Kirk Mikulec. He's up, as I said, the city council. He's brought every speaker in that we're going to be having from today earlier, some speakers tomorrow, and he really goes way out of his way for people just like you. So he's our speaker. I know y'all are going to be really great. Would you help me welcome Kirk Mikulec?
How y'all doing this afternoon?
Good.
Wish y'all had a snack or is lunch already digested and ready to go home? Okay, cool. So all of you guys in 6th grade, so when the bell goes, unless you're going to tutoring, you get to go home, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Well, it has been a good Monday. Lots going on. I appreciate what Mr. Ryhurst said. Actually, there's a whole lot of folks that want you guys to do well, from your teachers that are here in the room and came up with the idea to do these biographical sketches. Because in the olden days, like even 2 years ago, when people studied biographical sketches, they got a name or two, and then you got to get on the computer. You might have to wait your turn, but you get on the computer, and then you research that person, you write your notes down, and you might not ever get to meet them. Well, starting last year, Ms. Mitchell, Ms. Corey, several of the teachers started the program, and then Ms. Harden this year, and Ms. Davis, and some of the 7th and 8th grade English teachers, they're embracing this program. So, the long story short is you guys get to have some fun learning with real people, which is kind of cool. And I'm also a Lakeview parent. My son Joseph is in 7th grade. And I also went to Texas A&M, which is that school right up there. Okay. So there are a lot of cool schools all around Texas to go to for when you go to college. I did go to A&M, to another school that I hadn't learned very much about until recently, that people have been starting to go to that I know of. It's University of Arkansas, and I had no ties to them. But the moral of the story is, if you guys really get after it and work hard and make tremendous grades and do good community service stuff, then those schools will be options that you can go to. And that's the main thing is, whether you're going to the military or you go to college, those are door openers for you. So I know you guys have some things that you want me to answer for you, correct? So I'm here for you guys. So how, you guys going to ask? You want me to start talking? Yes, sir.
How was your childhood?
How was my childhood? That's a good open-ended question. But you have to be careful when you ask a politician that, because they may talk a long time. You hear after the bell. You don't hear after the bell. You just want enough to answer your question. Okay. So my childhood. I grew up in 2 different places. Texas, in 2 towns, Houston, which you may have heard of, and a very small town called Dayton, Texas. And then a couple times in between, I lived in the Netherlands, also known as Holland. Does anybody know where the Netherlands is? Anybody ever seen it on the map of Europe? Yes, sir. You seen it? Okay. Do you know what Holland is known for? What are some things that Holland is known for? Okay. Well, I'll tell you a couple quick things about Holland. Holland is below, most of Holland is below sea level. And there's a saying that God made the world, but Dutch made Holland. The reason why they say that is because they pumped a lot of water out, and then they put these dikes to keep the water out, and they reclaimed land. Holland is also known for cheese and people with the wooden shoes. Ever seen those here and there? So that's where I live. That's where I lived as a kid. Again, mostly in Texas. I like to do sports. I like to ride. I thought I was going to be a rider when I grew up. And I even had an uncle who had a magazine. I thought, this is great. I'm going to go get a journalism degree, which at that time A&M actually didn't have. But get my journalism degree, and I'm going to be a writer. I'm going to work for my uncle's magazine. I've got this. And I'm glad to finish this. And long story short, one summer when I was between 9th and 10th grade, went and visited that same uncle who had that magazine, and he asked me my plans, and I told him my plans, and he said, hold on, I'm out. You might have the opportunity to work for me, but you're not going to have the opportunity to work for me straight out of school. You're going to need to go work somewhere else and pay your dues. What does paying your dues mean?
Like pay that you
it's a form of payment. What it is working and somewhat earning your turn, earning your ability for that opportunity, paying your dues. So you might have phenomenal grades coming out of school, and yet along with that, there's more to work on. They're usually going to give that the best job to somebody who's already been there and has really good experience and accomplishments, and then you have to prove yourself. That's what paying your dues is. Yes, McKim? Did you have a question? Would you like to have a question? Okay. Yes, sir.
What is the
Achievements. Well, I'm going to, hey, what he asked, what's your name? Christian asked me, what were some of my achievements in college? I'm actually going to borrow this. This is true, but I heard Mellon, our speaker, said this, so I like this. It's pretty true. One of my best achievements was that I paid for my college. When I started off, the first semester, my dad matched every dollar I saved. But then my grades were not really very good because I was too busy doing intramural sports. I didn't study enough. And so my dad said, I hope you had fun because now you're on your own. And so for those other semesters, I paid my way through college. So I think that was a life lesson as well as an accomplishment. So, okay, yes, sir.
what are your best accomplishments in your job?
In my job, I would say my best accomplishments have been working with other people because I need to be able to bring back to my company, to our engineering people, the requirements that our customers need, because we make products that people put in, for example, elevators, or if you've been to the Cowboy Stadium, or if you see on TV some of the stadiums where they have the roofs that are retracting and moving back and forth, they use something called encoders, and those are sensors that my company makes. And so for us to make different types of encoders, I have to be able to listen and work with my customers and bring it back to the people within my factory to sell that. Yes, ma'am. I'm a sales guy. I am a salesman. But when I was younger, I didn't even like selling baseball candy. I did not want to grow up to be a salesman. But it actually has turned out to be pretty fun. Yes, sir.
What was in your
Struggles to get where we are now, where I am now. And that really is a question you should always, when you meet people that are more experienced than you, always ask them what struggles they face, because when I was your age, I thought my parents knew all the answers. And back in the day, parents didn't bring those conversations, their kids in those conversations of trouble paying the mortgage, or that their work was hard, or they might even close their company down. They didn't talk about that with kids. And now, I think probably most of you and your parents talk about a lot more stuff than we did back in the day. So it's important to realize that all the people you see, every teacher in this room, every person you meet at church, in your neighborhood, I would guarantee you every one of them face some type of really tough struggle. And the key is, how do you overcome that? So when you do face that struggle, whether you're 13 or you're 11 or you're 33, take a breath, talk to someone you trust. I'm not sure I can say this. If praying is what you do, then pray about it. Because those struggles are going to come. There's people that we've had up here today, survivors. There's some people that I worked with for 3 or 4 years, and I didn't even know that she was a cancer survivor, because she has just been working hard and doing really cool things, getting more businesses to come to Colony. And about last week, that I found out that she was a cancer survivor. So I think you asked something about obstacles or overcoming stuff, so that's somewhat answers that question. I think it's like, yes, ma'am.
What are some of your least favorite about your job and your most favorite?
Okay. She asked what my least favorite and most favorite things about my job are. And my least favorite is that sometimes I travel out of town when I would rather be here. So, for example, my son Joseph plays 7th grade basketball, and I'm going to miss one of his games on December 12th. I'm going to be in Cleveland, Ohio. But being up there means that I'm working for that company and I get to pay my mortgage. So that's one of the things about my job that I don't necessarily like, is that sometimes I do have to travel. And what I like most about it is that I know people from everywhere from here to Calgary, Alberta, up in Canada, to Orange, California a couple of months ago. I went with a bunch of customers to a baseball game to watch Anaheim Angels and Seattle play, and that was really nice. So that's kind of cool to know people from everywhere. Christian, did you have a question still?
Oh,
My career is I have customers that I help, and then I have a boss, and he's the vice president of our company. And then I have to tell him plans of things I'm doing and what I'm working on and what we need to make our customers happy. And so actually sales as a profession now is really different than it was when I was growing up. When I was growing up, salesmen, my dad would talk about salesmen, and he'd talk about people that were kind of make a quick dollar and weren't there to support you. But I think it's changed a lot. So that's one part of my career that I like a lot. Yes, sir. In the morning.
what do you do for fun with your son?
What do I do for fun with my son? Well, and you guys might be getting this age, but when something magical happens when you become a teenager, and it's not as cool to hang out with your parents, is what apparently, I kind of remember that too when I was a kid. But sometimes we go to A&M football games. We did that a couple weekends ago. We do still play basketball and catch. He used to play a lot of chess, and so I played chess with him. Haven't beat him in a long, long time. So those are some of the things that we do for fun as a family. And if you live in the colony, which you also need to be doing, so here's an advertisement for something in the colony, has anyone here been on the Shoreline Trail? Okay. Does anybody know what the Shoreline Trail is? Oh my goodness, we should have something else in here. Okay, so real quick, I need to let you know about some of these cool things we have in the colony. We've got a lot of parks. I don't know what the number is. Is it 32 or something? She said it. Okay, so we've got 32 different parks. We've got 7 miles of Shoreline Trail. Actually, we have more than that now. 7 miles is there and back from the trailhead that's by Stewart Creek Park all the way to Ridge Point. If you take the long way, it goes behind Angelina's and Ridge Point. Does anybody here live in Ridge Point? Okay, so you know where your playground is in the neighborhood? That's one of our trailheads. Get your family or one of your friends, get permission if you don't go with your parents, and you can walk it or ride a bicycle. Riding a bicycle, if you haven't been, is a good way to go, so you can see how long it is. And if you're going to go to Angelina's from the trail, bring your bike lock. And then there's also a trail up by the tribute that we just opened. So make a note of that. That's something really cool to see here in the colony is the Shoreline Trail. Yes, ma'am.
What made you want to do this job?
I think the opportunity to where I get to move around some, I'm not always in the same place, get to deal with a lot of different people, and it's another challenge where some days it is pretty difficult. Yes, sir. What's your name? Were you?
Did you want to do a sport or is this job that you want?
The job that I wanted to do is I wanted to be a writer. So when I was a lot younger, when I was in high school, I did write for some newspapers and everything from covering high school football games to a column that I thought was going to get published, but it wasn't quite as good as I thought it was. So that's what I wanted to be, I suppose. Yes, sir.
Was your job hard and do you like this job?
Yes, yes. Yes, it was hard, and yes, I liked it.